What's cracking, big dogs? Week 1, almost in the novels, almost in the books. We got a couple more Monday Night Football games going down tonight. We got the G-Man at Pittsburgh. I shit you not, one of my friends is having a tailgate in his driveway right now, and Snacks is already, he's been there. He's already probably wasted at this point. But it's how the story goes. Week 1 in the books. Welcome, Bike. This is the headquarters. This is BDGE. This is Big Dogs Gotta Eat Fantasy Football. My name is Nicholas. Throw your motherfucking dubs up. If you caught a dub without needing Miles Sanders, if you laid the smackdown on Animal without Miles Sanders in your lineup, throw it up. If you're watching behind your phone, if you're watching it behind your computer, I can feel the energy. Your boy is 7-0 in his leagues this week. 7-0. That is how you start off a season, okay? You wipe the fucking slate clean, you smack everybody in their mouths, and you start off 7-0. Some of y'all didn't start off 7-0. Some of y'all took L's, which is why we are here to navigate you through the NFL season. I don't know how I'm going to be doing these live streams going forward. I originally had planned to do this on Tuesday and make it like a waiver wire strategy live stream. But I woke up early today. We filmed Fade the Public already this morning, which is going to be coming out on Thursday. And I had done a lot of the research from yesterday's games already. So I'm like kind of ready to roll, and I want to throw it into your face holes. And right now we got like 270 people in here and only 37 thumbs up, which I find quite disrespectful. Okay? So smash the thumbs up button. The full waiver wire article breakdown, like written in detail and everything, will be on patreon.com. But I'm here to bring y'all the biggest news, the recaps, things that I took away from the games. So hopefully, if you didn't watch, you didn't need to, because I'm here for y'all. All right? And I am going to be looking at my notes. Where art thou? Okay, so we had a lot of injuries that happened yesterday. The biggest of which, of course, is that gamble you took on Jonathan Taylor in the 3rd and 4th round. Already paid massive dividends. It's like if you put an investment into a face mask company in November. For no reason should you have done that, but you hit the fucking jackpot with Jonathan Taylor. Marlon Mack tears his Achilles. He is gone for the season. Now, there's another element at play here, and it is Nyheim Hines. Yesterday, Jonathan Taylor didn't even get onto the field until basically Marlon Mack was hurt. Then he got his first touch. Took it 35 yards, screenplay, almost got into the end zone. Nyheim Hines was that dude in the backfield up until that point. Marlon Mack looked really good. It didn't look good for those who invested into Jonathan Taylor off the rip. It did not look good, but it doesn't matter at this point. Nyheim Hines played 39 snaps yesterday. 39 snaps, 53.4% of the snaps, 32 from the backfield, 3 from the slot, 4 out wide, 7 for 28 and touchdown on the ground, 8 targets, 8 receptions, 45 receiving yards, and a touchdown via the air. Jonathan Taylor, 26 snaps, 35.6%. Not really going to matter because Marlon Mack was in the game for half of it, so won't look too far into those. The big number here is 6 targets, 6 receptions, 67 receiving yards. Phillip Rivers is going to be everything for these running backs, man. I am not a fan of Nyheim Hines in particular as a player, but it doesn't fucking matter what I think. A lot of people are saying, is he the next Austin Eckler? Is he this year's Austin Eckler? No. He's nowhere near as good of a running back as Austin Eckler is. Austin Eckler is a guy who makes guys miss on the ground. He's a guy who gives you breakaway and explosive runs. Nyheim Hines is not that, but we don't need him to be if he's going to get 6 to 8 targets per game. He's going to be basically a slot wide receiver for this team, and he becomes an immediate priority pickup, especially in PPR leagues, and I'm sure he is wildly unowned in most Yahoo leagues, most sleeper leagues, most flea flicker leagues, wherever you play. And again, the nitty-gritty numbers behind waiver wire in terms of like fab bid and ownership percentage and shit like that will be on the waiver wire article going up on Patreon tomorrow. So patreon.com/BDGE, get the waiver wire article. You get my weekly rankings in season for all different league types. You get access to the Q&A live stream where I actually help y'all and answer your sit-start questions on Saturdays. Only available to Patreon. Does go up on YouTube afterwards. But Nyheim Hines gets a massive boost. Jonathan Taylor, like, Listen, this is what everybody was hoping. I mean, listen, everybody's sitting out here like, oh, we don't root for injuries. Like, motherfucker, if you own Jonathan Taylor, like, you were happy as hell that Marlon Mack went down. I'm sorry. Like, I'm going to be the only one to say it. Like, everyone's thinking it, but I'm the only motherfucker to say it. No, you're happy as hell that Marlon Mack went down. Listen, he doesn't lose his leg. He's not getting paid for this year anymore. Like, he'll be fine. He'll still be a human being, but Jonathan Taylor becomes a top 6 or 7 fantasy back, in my opinion. You basically look at what Marlon Mack did last year, and we're already seeing Jonathan Taylor get more targets. What did Marlon Mack have, a season high, a single game high last year of like 3 targets or some shit? Jonathan Taylor already took 6 of his 6 targets, 67 yards. Very, very impressive debut. I don't know why they couldn't pull one over on the Jaguars, but that's a whole nother fucking conversation to be had. And we look at what this offense can do. Still a very good offensive line, of course, and they're going to want to go ground heavy basically every game plan, right? So many targets went to the running back position. It was 8 to Hines. It was 6 to Jonathan Taylor. It was 3 to Marlon Mack before he got hurt. So he brings the carry upside that Marlon Mack had last year, where we saw many games where he went over 20 yards or 20 carries. Now you're already seeing a 6-catch target ceiling, or whatever you want to say, like that's in his range of outcomes on a weekly basis, plus those long breakaway plays. So Taylor, to me, like, yes, you basically got Derrick Henry of last year in the 3rd or 4th round. Do not sell Jonathan Taylor high. People that are telling you he's like RB 14 or 15 now are out of their fucking minds, and it's only getting better from here. So congrats if you own Jonathan Taylor. Shit is good. You could have lost week 1 and I'd be happy just owning Jonathan Taylor. I wrote some shit down about basically what I was doing yesterday was going through, watching the games, and as I saw something that like caught my eye, or I saw something that I thought was worth talking about, I kind of just jotted a note down, and then I did research on it this morning. One of the things I wrote down was Myles Gaskin. Myles Gaskin played for the Dolphins running back, for those of y'all that are unfamiliar. He was a 7th-round pick from Washington University last year. 205 pounds, 4'5", 4'6", 40. So he's kind of slow. He's kind of small, but he played a lot yesterday, like 63% of the snaps. He was the leading carrier as well as a leading target getter out of this backfield. Matt Breida had 5 carries, 0 targets. He played on 14 snaps. He was also playing on kickoff coverage, okay? So Matt Breida's role is clear that it's not going to be a thing. Jordan Howard literally averaged like a couple of quarters per carry. He ran the ball, I think, like 8. He had 9 snaps, 8 carries for 7 yards. This is just a messy backfield that you just want no part of in this economy, okay? This is just a backfield that you are not wasting fab on. You will not hear those words come out of my mouth. So I'm staying away from Myles Gaskin. Y'all could do what you want if you want to yell at me for that. Green Bay, man. Green Bay looked fucking good. Green Bay looked good. Aaron Rodgers in particular looked angry. He looked ferocious. He looked accurate. He looked like Aaron Rodgers. He looked like Aaron Rodgers, man. They dominated time of possession. 41 minutes and 16 seconds the Green Bay Packers had the time of possession in this game over the Minnesota Vikings. Not a good look. The wide receivers. Big game for Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Low-key big game for Allen Lazard. Who are we targeting? We have a clear wide receiver 2 in this offense. It's Allen Lazard. Now, Devontae Adams played on his normal 92% of snaps and got about 92 fantasy points for you. Marquez Valdes-Scantling played on 55.3% of the snaps. Allen Lazard, 89.5%. And what's encouraging is that while they ran 2 wide receivers, and Lazard was the wide receiver 2, when they ran 3 wide receiver sets, he moved into the slot. You love to see that shit, okay? 30 routes from the slot, 38 outside, 90% snap rate overall. Finished with a 4 for 4, 63 and a touchdown line. Added a 20-yard run, a 19-yard run, but who the fuck's counting? So if I'm taking one, like there was a lot of hype out of camp from MVS. There's a lot of hype out of Allen Lazard. I do think both of them should be owned because if we're getting the Aaron Rodgers of old, which, he's not in his prime anymore, but he looked pretty damn good. It was pretty convincing yesterday. I would like a piece of this passing offense if I did not get it from Devontae Adams. my priority pickup would be Allen Lazard. Next guy up, MVS is not a bad secondary trophy. But again, Lazard played 90% of the snaps, MVS only 55.3% of the snaps. Someone that played a whole lot of snaps yesterday is his tight end out in Washington, Mr. Logan Thomas, bro. Logan Thomas was a dude who was getting nonstop hype out of Washington camp, and we heard it all summer. He's an athletic guy. He is vying for the starting role, and then he wins it outright. Played on 74% of the snaps, 86% of routes, 26% target share. He led the Redskins in target share. He led the Redskins in targets, 8 targets. He is a dude with a 4.6 1.40. He was a tight end who was a quarterback and a wide receiver beforehand. If you look at his player profile on playerprofiler.com, you're seeing like a Darren Waller-esque athletic profile. It's insane. And I tried to pick him up in Dynasty anywhere I could before the season started, and I'm damn fucking happy about it. 52 of 70 snaps he played, 24 slot routes, 4 out wide. The dude seems to be a legit candidate to be this year's Darren Waller. We'll have to see if Dwayne Haskins can be usable. We'll have to see if this Washington offense can be usable. But Logan Thomas is absolutely a guy you should have your eye on the waiver wire if you are hurting at tight end. And speaking of the Redskins offense being usable, their defense is fucking ferocious. Tweeted this out yesterday, but the matchup between Philly's offensive line and Washington's front seven was literally corrupt. The police should have stormed the field. And I apologize if I said Redskins. I didn't mean to if I did, even though I don't think I did. The football team's front seven is fucking ferocious, man. And Carson Wentz got hit like 15 times. I think he was sacked 8 times. The offensive line was without Brandon Brooks, obviously, for the year. Andre Dillard out for the year. Lane Johnson's injury is apparently more serious than we expected it to be. This offense was anytime you lose to the Washington football team, there's a problem, okay? And that was it. It was an issue. When Philly's going against a stout front seven, there are going to be problems. When Washington plays against a weak offensive line, they are probably a streamable defense. I hate to say that, but they probably are, man. 8 fucking sacks yesterday. Woo! Woo! Okay. James Robinson of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is a must-add running back this week. He played Leonard Fournette's role. They just didn't dump it off to the running backs enough times for us to see that come to fruition. I mean, Gardner Minshew only threw the ball 20 times. Only threw 1 incomplete pass. Gardner Minshew's the GOAT. We'll put it that way. Minshew's the GOAT. But Jacksonville, 16 running back carries yesterday. James Robinson, every single one of them. 16 of 16. 1,000% running back carry rate. 16 for 62. Wasn't hyper efficient, which is not going to happen in this Jacksonville offense because of the Jacksonville offense. Did catch his only target for 28 yards. Chris Thompson was an absolute non-factor. So James Robinson is clearly the workhorse in this offense. Again, you're hampered by the fact that you're in this. Why we didn't like Fournette to begin with when he was in Jacksonville. You're hampered by the fact that you are in Jacksonville. You're not getting a lot of goal line carries. You're not going to be a lot efficient because the offensive line fucking stinks. So Robinson's a guy that you could throw into your RB3 flex role week in and week out and probably expect a floor of between 8 and 10 points. And if he gets lucky and kind of stumbles into a goal line touch, maybe he puts up 15 to 16 for you. So yeah, I think James Robinson makes a lot of sense. Chris Thompson is droppable. Rykel Armstead's droppable. Devon Azigbo's. All these motherfuckers are droppable. All right. One running back to own in Jacksonville, and it is Mr. James Robinson. What else we got going on here? Okay, let's talk about this Detroit game. Now, Adam Levitan, let me see if I could put this image up on the screen for y'all. A couple tweets from Adam Levitan about the game overall. Really disappointing for TJ Hockinson. Only see a 12% target share with Kenny Golladay, hammy out. Also only played 50 of 78 snaps. Was slot or wide for 19 of them. Would actually be encouraged by Deandre Swift usage. Led Detroit running backs in snaps despite missing a ton of camp time. Reasonable 12% target share. Pass down roll is locked. Rushing roll will almost certainly grow. Okay. A lot to take away from those Twitter tweets. Way more optimistic about TJ Hockinson than he is. 12% target share, yes, not great, but I saw a lot of people tweet out that he was being double covered a lot. Anytime he was going up the middle, anytime they were in the red zone, they made sure that the focus of the defense was on Hockinson, which I highly doubt will be the case when Kenny Golladay is back on the field. He had a good game. I think he went 5 for 51 and a touchdown. Like, this is the path that we want to see, right? We talked about all summer. TJ Hawkinson's prime for a breakout, top 10 draft capital, really athletic, like going to be the full-time player. It's basically what we saw in week 1. So, yes, a 12% target share. Like, I'm not about to look at a target share based off a one-game sample size and, like, draw conclusions from it. I'm looking at a good game from TJ Hockinson. We'll have to see what happens when Kenny Golladay comes back, but this is exactly, you'd rather see this game than not see this game from Hockinson. So, for me, he's going to be a borderline tight end 1 going forward, someone that I feel pretty good streaming. Deandre Swift. That egregious drop at the end of the game. He absolutely embarrassed my ancestors and my family name, man. Talked about it on Twitter. It was inexcusable. It was embarrassing. It was a non-NFL player type play. He's a rookie. He's going to have those mistakes. Still think he is one of, if not the most talented running back in this group. As soon as he was out of practice for a couple weeks, that was when issues started. Like, you knew he was fucked then, because the only clear path he had to taking over as the workhorse right out of the gate was if he was healthy for the entirety of the summer, and I think he would have taken the majority of the work if that happened. But as soon as they pushed him back and then they signed AP, like, you knew shit was going to get messy here. But when we look at how they actually did use him, and this is something I tweeted out when I was doing a little bit of research this morning, Swift led the back. I know AP had a big game and he had a lot of carries, a lot of groundwork. DeAndre Swift had 43.6% of the Lions snaps yesterday, which led them by a pretty long shot. 43.6%. AP had 30.8%, carry on 25.6%. DeAndre Swifty, 21% came out wide or from the slot. He led their RBs with 5 targets. He had the only goal line carry, which he did convert into a touchdown. And he was, most importantly, in on all of the 2- and 4-minute drills. I talked about this a lot during the summer, how I think he can have that similar role to what Theo Riddick was, but be a plus runner on the ground. Theo Riddick, the last season that he had under Matt Patricia as the pass catcher, caught almost 70 passes. Like, this is the type of thing I think we could see out of DeAndre Swift. His role is only going to get bigger. This was his first game. Matt Patricia does not like to play these rookies. I think he's just going to expand his role. And I'm somewhat encouraged by, despite that fucking egregious drop he had, I'm encouraged by the usage that he had overall. One guy to keep an eye on, this boy Quintus Cephas. A lot of hype throughout the summer as well. He's only owned in like 10 to 15% of dynasty leagues. And I'm not like super excited about him, but he did lead the Lions with 10 targets yesterday. It's not every day that you get to grab somebody off the waiver wire in your dynasty league that sees 10 targets, especially not a rookie. He wasn't good on them. 3 catches. I think he had like 39 or 43 yards or some shit. Has trouble getting separation, which is not a surprise given his athletic profile is pretty fucking underwhelming. But he's a name to keep an eye on. I'm not about to go all out and like spend all my fab on him, because what happened is he ran a ton of routes. He was on the field for a ton of snaps, which led to him getting a lot of targets. But he ran like 85% of his snaps on the outside. Okay? And that was because Kenny Golladay was out. Kenny Galladay's back. It's going to be Marvin Jones, Kenny Golladay. Danny Amendola is their slot guy. So had we seen Cephas run more routes from the slot yesterday, I'd be encouraged to say, like, hey, you know what? Like, when Kenny G's out there, maybe they just move Cephas into the slot on the 3 wide receiver sets. I think that's Amendola's role. So it's very likely that we just see Cephas kind of pushed over to the bench and becomes the 4th wide receiver in the lineup. You know, if Kenny G or Marvin Jones needs to come off the field, we put our boy Quintus out there. So he's a pickup in Dynasty. I am not sure that, like, I'm going to start getting fucking excited about him, though. All right. Who else we got? Peyton Barber, the goal line back, huh? Man, this was my concern with Antonio Gibson. Outside of just being in Washington's offense overall, like, Peyton Barber got 5 goal line carries yesterday. 5. 5. Ronald Rivera. WID. Why are we getting Peyton Barber so fucking involved? What are we doing here? Do you not watch Tampa Bay last year? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Clyde Edwards-Helaire leads the NFL right now with 6 goal line carries. Peyton Barber got 5 yesterday. He's currently number 2 in goal line carries in the NFL. Le'Veon Bell had 6 all of last year. So I think with Gibson, we're just never really going to know on a week-by-week basis what his workload's going to look like. You know, is he going to get the in-between the tackles carries? Is he going to get any goal line work? Hard to say. He's like a flex play that I'm not really confident in playing week over week. So, no, I'm not picking up Peyton Barber because I don't want the football team's goal line back because that's not going to be a role that's coveted week in and week out for the most part. But it's just it's a little concerning when it comes to Antonio Gibson. A couple other running back duos that I'm a little bit concerned about, man, is the Zach Moss Devin Singletary duo. I like Zach Moss a lot more than I do Devin Singletary right now because he's getting the goal line work, he's getting the end zone targets, but Josh Allen is kind of like the RB1 down there on the goal line. Neither of the running backs were good on the ground yesterday, and they played the Jets. This is why I'm scared, right? Like Mims needs to do a remix of this shit. This is why I'm scared because Zach Moss fucking averaged 1.2 yards per carry. That's why I'm scared. Both of these guys were shitty on the ground. Like, if we're going to have a game script that dictates these guys having big games in this backfield, scoring touchdowns, being efficient, dominating game script, like this was it against the Jets. And it didn't happen. So when we're starting to play teams like the Patriots, and we're starting to play other teams outside of the division, are we going to be able to rely on these guys? I don't know. So right now, I mean, I'm holding both of them. And both of them are going to have their weeks, but very hard to trust either one of them if they're not going to get it done against the New York Jets, the shit show. The Jets are a shit show. The Cleveland Browns are an absolute shit show as well. I don't think it's an overreaction in week 1 to say that. Like, the Browns were fucking terrible yesterday. Good Lord. And I want to say, like, you know what? The Ravens team is just so good, and maybe we'll get back to the fucking all you weirdo regression people. Like Lamar Jackson can't be good at passing again. Mark Andrews can't catch touchdowns because of fucking regression. Shut your mouth. Didn't happen. Cleveland Browns, really bad. Odell Beckham, 10 targets, 3 catches. Jarvis Landry is the wide receiver to own in Cleveland. Like, I don't care that Odell Beckham, his fucking fast twitch fibers bend further than Jarvis Landry's. I'm over it. I'm over that shit. This is just what we're getting. We're getting an inaccurate Baker Mayfield. The storyline is going to start pushing towards, was Baker Mayfield actually amazing in college, which his numbers say he was, or was he sitting behind a ridiculously good offensive line while throwing to Hollywood Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Mark Andrews, was Hayden Hurst? No, Hayden Hurst wasn't on Oklahoma, was he? Am I making that up? I hope he was, because it makes my argument that much fucking better. I feel like Hayden Hurst came out of South Carolina, another red and white team. Regardless, though, CeeDee Lamb, Marquise Brown, the offensive line there, Mark Andrews, they look bad. Nick Chubb, are we nervous about Nick Chubb? Started the game off really good, really well, running it hard, running it efficiently. This is where the game script is more prevalent, right? Like, they're not going to get blown out like this every game. So Nick Chubb will play a lot more. And, you know, people are going to be like, oh, Kareem Hunt outscored him again. Kareem Hunt had more snaps and more receptions, shit. Like, they're down 30 fucking points. Like, of course Kareem Hunt's going to be on the field more than Nick Chubb is. Nick Chubb is still their starter. Nick Chubb is going to have a bunch of games where he gets 18 to 20 carries. But if this team is just fucking as miserable, here's how I'll sum it up. I'm not as concerned with Kareem Hunt's role. If we're talking about being worried about Chubb, I'm more worried about the team than I am actually Kareem Hunt. Because if you're just looking at the box score from yesterday and being like, oh my God, Kareem Hunt played such a big role, like he did, but it's because they were getting rolled on, all right? Kareem holes rolls as they get rolled, okay? That's how it works. So Chubb, like, obviously that's not what you want to see in the first game, but I think we'll be a little happier with his performances going forward. David Njoku looked good, and then he got placed on IR, so don't worry about him. Let's talk about the Chargers and Bengals game, man. There's a lot to take away here. You want to talk about guys you're worried about and guys you're not worried about. The running backs in this game, okay? Joe Mixon. Man, this is like what I was worried about all summer. This is what I was saying. Like, as long as Gio Bernard is in the picture, Joe Mixon's never going to hit his ceiling, you know? Joe Mixon played on 58% of the Bengals snaps yesterday against the Chargers. Gio Bernard was targeted 5 times to Mixon's 2 times. This is an offensive line that, yes, we expect to be better, but I wouldn't expect them to go from like the worst offensive line in the league to a top 10 offensive line. Like, it's just not going to happen. It's a good Chargers defense, but they're not amazing, right? They've already lost Derwin James. So I'm fucking terrified if I'm a Mixon owner, man, because this is just a situation. As much as we like his talent, again, it's just a situation. This is going on 4 years of being underutilized in the passing game. At what point does situation trump talent? You got to ask yourself that. Again, you could say week 1 is overreaction period, but week 1 also gives you the best selling and buying windows because people are overreacting. So if you hit them correctly, you hit them fucking big time. Big time ROI. Fucking stonks. Revenue. The revenue is there. How we doing, chat? I really hope my volume hasn't been off like this whole time. That would be really shitty. What's good? What's good? What up, chat? All right, you guys can hear me. Cool. That would have fucking really been anti-good if I just went off for 40 minutes. Okay. What else we got from that game? Okay, so Tyrod Taylor fucking stunk yesterday, and I'm nervous that that's going to be the case for a long time. You're going against the Bengals defense, man. If you can't get it done against the Bengals defense, you're probably just not good. Not good news for the passing game. Eckler's a buy low. Eckler's a buy low for me. I like the 20 touches. The reason I liked Eckler still this year is because I thought this Chargers offense was going to be bad. And I think that lends its game script to Eckler. Joshua Kelly is absolutely a priority ad, but don't expect Joshua Kelly to get 12 carries going forward, 12 to 14 carries and all this goal line work and shit. While he might be the goal line back going forward, that did not stop Eckler from being, a top 5 to 7 running back last year. When they start to play teams like the Chiefs, like next week, we're going to see the Chargers get fucking manhandled. And we're going to see Eckler get more involved in the passing game. Now you could say, oh, that's the same thing with Mixon. Yeah, this is what I've been tweeting out all summer, that the Cincinnati Bengals ran the single most plays in 2019 while trailing. Okay, so they were already a bad team, and we already saw this setup. And Mixon's target numbers dipped from 2018 to 2019, and now we're just seeing him not be involved. 58% of the snaps, like, come the fuck on now. All right? So at Eckler, 20 touches still, 19 carries, and this is like the only game that they're really going to be in it. I really believe that. Bengals are not a good team. Their defense stinks. I'm not worried about Eckler. If he continues to stop, if next week we come back and Eckler doesn't see at least 5 targets, I'll start to worry. But for now, Eckler is a guy to buy. Mixon, for me, is a guy to sell. I'll tell you who else looked fucking good yesterday, man. AJ Green. AJ fucking Green looked good. He only played on like 60% of the snaps, but he saw 9 targets. While the other guys, John Ross, Tyler Boyd, CJ Uzuma, saw 5. Like, he almost doubled everyone's target totals despite playing on limited snaps. And if you want to fade him for the injury reason, which I'm honestly, like, admittedly, I'm not going to go out and start sending offers for AJ Green. I'll just say I'd be happy if I owned him right now, despite me fading him all offseason. Because by the time drafts came around, you really only need to pay like a 10th or 11th round price for him. And he's Just if you didn't watch the game, if you only saw the box score, be happy you own AJ Green because he left a lot of points on the field. Burrow overthrew him on like a beautiful 40-yard touchdown that just went right over his head. He had the touchdown at the end of the game with like 2 seconds left where he got the offensive pass interference call. He had a beautiful tiptoe catch on the last drive of the game that was called out by like a fucking he really, really should have had like another 70 yards and 2 touchdowns on his box score. So if I own AJ Green, I'm feeling good about that right now, at least seeing what comes of it until he pulls his hamstring probably. What else can we talk about? What else happened? Sunday Night Football, we had the Rams versus Cowboys. Robert Woods did his thing. We've been smoking Bobby trees all summer. Y'all know that. He's going to continue putting out like 8 for 100 lines because he's just the GOAT. The Rams backfield. Malcolm Brown looked good, man. Ran a lot of routes. I think he ran like 21 routes compared to about 12 for Cam Akers. Darrell Henderson, I think we'll continue to see more and more involved. I think this is just going to be a hot hand approach, to be honest. I'm personally not going out and spending all my fab on Malcolm Brown. But I will say, Cam Akers did not look good yesterday. Noah texted me and Mike and was like, Cam Akers runs like fucking Trent Richardson. I was like, I can't really argue that. Didn't look good. The offensive line did not help him whatsoever. I'm going to look on Player Profiler and see if they have anything updated on their site because they do efficiency metrics behind like their offensive line and whatnot. No, they don't have it up yet. But Cam Akers did not play well. I'm not panicking. We'll see what comes of it. Malcolm Brown played really well. So he's definitely someone you want to pick up. He's definitely a pickup, but he's not someone I'm going to go crazy for. If you want to, I won't blame you, but I think this will be a hot hand approach. And I think he's in a backfield where both guys are more talented than he is. And that will lend itself to not having the hot hand more often than having it. Yes, they do trust him. And yes, he played well last night. But I think we kind of know what Malcolm Brown is, man. I think he's a thumper that has his moments. I think he's like a Mike Davis type where he can do it all, but if there's someone better, that person will probably eventually take the touches from you. And I think we'll see that more often than not with Cam Akers and when Darrell Henderson gets back to full health. So I feel like that's most of the notes I had. What else can we talk about? We can talk about some of the injuries outside of Marlon Mack. So we had Blake Jarwin, obviously torn ACL. He's going to be out for the season. No, I will not be picking up Dalton Schultz, whoever the fucking backup tight end is. George Kittle's got some weird freaky knee thing going on. He ended up coming back into the game, but you'll have to stay tuned on what the injury to George Kittle was. I think to me, I'm not no fucking doctor, but I've hyperextended my knee before, and that's what it looked like for Kittle. Maybe like a bruised knee. I'm not really sure. Doesn't seem like it's going to be long-term, but make sure you're following Dr. Morris. Make sure you're following Edwin Porras. Make sure you're following Dr. Chow on Twitter to stay up to date on all these injury things. George Kittle's out. Obviously, that kind of opens the path for, I believe, who they just signed? Vernon Davis, right? Or is it Jordan Reed? Let me check the snap counts on this. Let me check some of the production. Yeah, Jordan Reed. Huge 2 targets for 12 yards. Things you love to see. Well, listen, they got like their entire fucking pass catching group banged up right now. Kittle, Ayuk, Debo, Jordan Reed. I'm not gonna go fucking nuts about him, but I mean he makes sense as a pickup. Who else got hurt? Le'Veon Bell fucked up his hamstring a little bit. They had this man Josh Adams in there, man, running pretty hard. If y'all remember Josh Adams, he had like a cute little stint with the Eagles where he kind of went off for like 4 or 5 games in a row. Looked fun, but at the end of the day, Josh Adams and Frank Gore are like the Spider-Man meme kind of looking at each other. They're both just like thumpers. And we're going to see, because Adam Gase trusts Frank Gore, I feel like a little bit more. We're going to see Frank Gore get a lot of carries compared to Josh Adams. 2 for 8 and a touchdown, 2 receptions, 14 yards. It's just not a situation you want any part of. It was not a situation you want a part of with Le'Veon Bell. 6 for 14 carries. And now we're going to have a lesser talented running back in that group. So not anyone I'm spending fab on. That entire Jets offense looks like an absolute shit show. Devontae Parker re-aggravated the hamstring that he originally aggravated going into the year. Preston Williams, man. Preston Williams. is about to get 200 targets per game. And I don't like Mike Gesicki. I think he fucking stinks. But Parker's going to be out for multiple weeks. This seems like a volume play, similar to how Preston Williams was out last year, and it was all to Parker and Gesicki. I think we're going to see a lot of similarities there. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, this is what happens, man. If Ryan Fitzpatrick is not coming in by surprise, if he's like not the quarterback by surprise, he's exactly who we think he is. He's Ryan fucking Fitzpatrick, you know? So if Fitz keeps playing poorly and they have faith into his health, it's going to get ugly. And Tua's going to get in there. And then Tua and Preston Williams are going to make babies. Michael Thomas, high ankle injury. He's saying he could play through it. I mean, we saw another Saints skill position player play through a high ankle injury last year. Wasn't a good look. Alvin Kamara. Yeah, I'm fucking very concerned if I'm a Michael Thomas owner. If he's going to play through it, 1, probably going to be on limited snaps. 2, not going to be effective. 3, very high re-injury risk rate. So that sucks if you drafted Michael Thomas. Apologies, but probably didn't if you're in my audience because we kind of were just going really heavy on running backs to begin with. You guys are asking about Sanders. Are we worried about Sanders? I mean, it sucks that he sat week 1, of course. Obviously, that's shitty to see. I'm kind of happy they did, though, because if he wasn't ready, if they were going to play him on limited snaps, that would mean he's not 100%. And if you're not 100%, I don't really want you on the field. So I like the extra week that he has to rest up and prepare for their next game. Boston Scott was messed up a little bit throughout the game. So they definitely need Sanders back on the field. And I think I think they're going to go back to the tape and they're going to see how quickly the Redskins got pressure on that offensive line. And what I think that's going to mean is like less deep shots downfield, less Deshaun Jackson, less Jalen Reagor down the field, and a lot more what we saw over the last half of last year with Miles Sanders, like a lot more dump offs quickly, a lot more quick slot routes for the guys like either the tight ends for Boston Scott, for Miles Sanders. So am I concerned from a running perspective? Like you have to be because their offensive line is absolute shite right now. But I just want him back on the field. And I'm not worried about this injury being like more serious than what it was 1 week ago. I just think this was like a maybe an arrogant play by them, thinking like, oh, we don't need Miles Sanders for the Washington Redskins, and then you get fucking absolutely tanked on. So like, yeah, ideally you don't want him to fucking miss week 1, but I think he should be fine, hopefully, for week 2. But there are guys who do this a lot better than I do, obviously, injury-wise. There are doctors who have been official doctors longer than I have, if he feels what I'm saying. All right. Where are we at, though? Wow, we got 1,500 people in here. God damn. What's good? What's good? You're a doctor. Of course I'm a doctor. What kind of question is that? Big doctors got to eat. Chris Carson. What are we talking about with Chris Carson? They threw the ball a lot in Seattle, and you love to see it. You love to see it. Oh, my God. There's so many questions coming in at once. I can't even, read. I can't read good. I can't read good to start. Oh, boy, am I glad I own Tyler Lockett in a lot of places. If they're going to let Russ cook the fuck up, the Seattle offense is going to be dangerous. Oh, I've had a lot of questions about snap counts. How I'm pulling them, et cetera, et cetera. So the best place to pull snap counts from, immediately, is PFF. PFF.com. But they are behind a paywall, okay? But that's what you're paying for. You're paying for quickness, rapidness, for the information quickly. Lineups.com does snap counts as well. Lineups.com. Player Profiler, I believe, as well does them. But you got to understand, if it's free, it's probably going to take a little while. They're not going to have snap counts up within an hour of the fucking games being done. So if you want the more in-depth shit, it's going to come from PFF. Like, those are where I can find routes run, snaps from the slot, snaps out wide, snaps under pressure, fucking these snaps. PFF's got them all. You guys are just naming people's names. I don't even know what to do with most of this. This is out of control. Oh, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I got it. Before I have a fucking heart attack and pass away, you guys are killing me right now. Thank you for I really do appreciate all you guys being in here. I do appreciate all you guys being in here, but if you're watching the chat right now, what am I supposed to do with this? If you're me, what do you WID? What the fuck is you doing? How do you answer the Falcon situation? We fucking stink. We stink. Falcons stink. Okay? We're a terrible team. Matt Ryan's going to throw the ball 52 times a game. Oh, God. I can't even focus. I should have took Adderall. Oh, I won a big game on Monkey Knife Fight yesterday. Guys, the best game on Monkey Knife Fight is the touch. You could choose the morning games and do a touchdown dance. It was literally over under 2.5 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook, Josh Jacobs, Christian McCaffrey. They scored 7 touchdowns. We put $20 on it and we won $37 off of it. The touchdown dances are the easy money on Monkey Knife Fight. You could do the early games, you could do the late games, you could do a single game. It's fucking beautiful. And you could choose, you pick any 3 players you want. And you say, do they score over 2.5 touchdowns? So collectively, do they score 3 touchdowns? Do they score over 3.5 touchdowns? Do they score over 4.5 touchdowns? What are you doing? Okay. MonkeyKnifeFight.com. Use the promo code BDGE when you sign up. You're getting 100%. Here's what you do. Go to MonkeyKnifeFight.com. Throw in $10 right now. And you'll get $10 extra to play with. Throw it fucking all in the touchdown dance tonight. You know why? Because Deontay Johnson scoring fucking 3 tugs. 3 tugs, Monday Night Football, Derrick Henry, 47 points. I whooped Animals fucking ass in E-Town Get Down. We're going to talk about Dobbins. Listen. I'm not going to go nuts. Dobbins scored twice, but he also was targeted 0 times. He also had 22 rushing yards on 7 carries, which is 3 yards per carry. There wasn't a single Ravens running back that had a target. Okay? That's a problem. Hit the thumbs up, people. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. There's fucking 1,400 people in here, only 277 thumbs up. Wildly disrespectful. You guys are like the Cleveland Browns of chats, of live audiences, and it hurts. Yes, Dobbins looked way better than Mark Ingram. Obviously, when you're a better running back, you're going to look better. Did anyone think Mark Ingram was better than J.K. Dobbins? Of course not. Of course not. Skirt. Thoughts on Taylor? Taylor, you got an RB1. If you drafted Taylor, you have a top 8 solidified RB1 in fantasy for the rest of the season. Go thank the Marlon Mack gods. Go thank the Achilles snatchers. Go thank whoever shot Achilles at the end of Troy in his fucking Achilles with a bow and arrow because they hit Marlon Mack. And if you're a Jonathan Taylor owner, congrats. You just won your league. I love you. I'm out. Patreon.com/BDGE.